Good morning, everyone. I am Flor Macasling from BSN1 Maslow. So today we are going to tackle the theory of Margaret Newman's The Health is the Expansion of Consciousness together with my classmate Khyle, Lerove, Legaspi. So before we start, let's have the learning objectives of Margaret Newman's theory. So the learning objectives of Margaret Newman's theory is upon completion of instruction, the student can first is describe the concept of the nursing theory of Newman. Second is recognize the principles of Newman's theory. Third is develop nursing care plan in application of Newman's theory. Who is Margaret Newman? So, Margaret Newman is born on October 10, 1933. Bachelor degree in University of Tennessee in 1962 and her master degree is University of California in 1964. Doctorate in New York University in 1971. So, Margaret Newman, she has worked in University of Tennessee, New York University, Pennsylvania State University, University of Minnesota. So, that is Margaret Newman's. So, let's proceed to the introduction. The theory of health as expanding consciousness stems from Rogers' theory of unitary human beings. So, according to the Newman 2010, the theory of health as expanding consciousness was stimulated by concern for those for whom health is the absence of disease or disability is not possible. The theory has progressed to include the health of all persons regardless of the presence or absence of disease. So what is Newman theory? So the theory asserts that every person in every situation, no matter how disordered and hopeless it may seem, is part of the universal process of expanding consciousness. A process of becoming more of oneself, is finding greater meaning in life, and of reaching new dimension of connectedness with other people and the world. So let's proceed to the theory of development. So actually, Margaret Newman theory was not only inspired by Rogers' theory. Meron ding apat na na-influence sa kanyang theory is Isaac Bentov, Arthur Young, and David Bohm. So, ang theory ni Margaret is align siya sa meta-theory. Bakit siya align sa meta-theory? Is because theory o by theory siya. Which means, na-influensyahan siya ng ibang theories like Rogers. That's why, meta-theory po. So, let's proceed to the assumption. So, in the assumption, we have 5. So, number 1 is health encompasses condition, therefore described as illness or in medical terms, pathology. So, second is this pathological condition can be considered a manifestation of the total pattern of the individual. So, the third is the pattern of the individual that eventually manifests itself as pathology is primary exists prior to structural or functional changes. So number 4 is removal of the pathology in itself will not change the pattern of the individual. And 5, if becoming ill is the only way an individual's pattern can manifest itself, then that is health for that person. So lastly is health is an expansion of consciousness. So, in the first assumption is health encompasses all condition. So, this assumption it challenges the traditional view of health as the mere absence of disease. Newman suggests that even in the midst of illness or disability, individual can experience a state of health. So, In addition, pathology is disease or unhealthy. So the second rather of assumption is illness manifestation. So Newman posits that illness is not a random occurrence but rather a reflection of individuals' underlying pattern of being. So symptoms removal doesn't change in the underlying pattern. This assumption highlights the importance of addressing the root cause of illness rather than simply treating symptoms. So, number 4 assumption is illness as a path to health. Newman suggests that if illness is the only way individual's pattern can express itself, then that is considered health for that person. So, lastly, the assumption is health as an expansion of consciousness rather. So the ultimate goal of health according to Newman is the expansion of consciousness. This involves a deepening understanding oneself and the world around us.
So let's proceed to the description of the theory. Newman's HEC theory, or human expansion consciousness theory, emphasizes the expanding consciousness of health encompassing all individuals, regardless of disease or disability. This universal process of expanding consciousness promotes personal growth, meaning, and connectedness with others, despite the challenges of chronic illness and the uncertainty of life. Humans are open to the whole energy system of the universe and constantly interacting with the energy. With this process of interaction, humans are evolving their individual pattern of hope. According to Newman, understanding the pattern is essential. The expanding consciousness is the pattern recognition. The manifestation of disease depends on the pattern of individual. So the pathology of the disease exists before the symptoms appear. So removal of disease symptoms does not change the individual structure. Newman also redefines nursing according to her. Nursing is the process of recognizing the individual in relation to environment, and it is the process of understanding of consciousness. The nurse helps to understand people to use the power within to develop the higher level of consciousness. Thus, it helps to realize the disease process, its recovery, and prevention. Newman also explains the interrelatedness of time, space, and movement. Time and space are the temporal pattern of the individual. Both have complementary relationship. Humans are constantly changing through time and space, and it shows unique patterns of reality. So, ang example nito is, nagyoyosi ka, unconscious ka. So, in-expand mo yung knowledge mo, nag-research ka, inalam mo kung ano ang mga consequences if magkukontinue ka or titigil ka sa pagyoyosi. Now let's proceed to the major concepts and definitions. We have 3 concepts and definitions. First is the health, second is the pattern, and third is the consciousness. Now let's begin with health. Health and illness are simply manifestations of the rhythmic fluctuations of the life process, is the foundation for viewing health and illness as a unitary process, moving through variations in order disorder. From this standpoint, one can no longer think of health and illness in the dichotomous way characterized by medical science, that is, health as absence of disease, or health as a continuum from wellness to illness. Health and the evolving pattern of consciousness are the same. Now let's proceed to pattern. A person is identified by his or her pattern, which reflects the pattern of the person within the larger pattern of the environment. The pattern is evolving through various permutations of order and disorder, including what in everyday language is called health and disease. Pattern recognition emerges from a process of uncovering meaning in a person's life. Meaning is inherent in pattern. and vice versa. And then we have consciousness. Consciousness is defined as the informational capacity of the system, which is the human being. That is, the ability of the system to interact with the environment. Consciousness includes not only the cognitive and affective awareness normally associated with consciousness, which includes physiochemical maintenance and growth processes, as well as the immune system. This pattern of information, which is the consciousness of the system, is part of a larger, undivided pattern of an expanding universe. Now let's proceed to the three correlates of consciousness, which is the movement, time, and space. Movement is related to neural activity and information processing. Time is connected to subjective experience and temporal processing, while space is associated with spatial awareness and cognitive mapping. So this is the illustration of Newman's pattern.
So let's proceed to the nursing paradigms. So in nursing paradigms, we have four. So first is health. Health and illness are synthesized as health, the fusion on one state of being. Disease, which is opposite to non-disease, result in what can be regarded as a health. So the second is nursing. Nursing is carrying in the human health experience. Nursing is seen as a partnership between the nurse and client, with a both grow in the sense of higher level consciousness. So the third is human. The human is unitary, that is cannot be divided into parts and is inseparable from the larger unitary field. So person as individuals and human beings as a species rather are identified by their patterns of consciousness. The person does not possess consciousness. The person is consciousness. So person are centers of consciousness within an overall pattern of expanding consciousness. So the lastly is environment. So environment is described as a universe of open system. So this slide describes human nursing paradigms. It explains rather that health is a combination of illness and wellness, and nursing is a collaborative process where both nurse and patient increase their awareness or consciousness. It also states that humans are all invisible beings, beings, and the environment is a system of interconnected parts.
So that's all, guys. I am Khyle of Legaspi.
And I am Flor Macasling from BSN1 Maslow. Thank you!